Hi and welcome to the EWiT Code Extraordinary Woman in Tech podcast. Here you'll find inspiring conversations about technology, inclusion, and diversity. If you are listening to us from podcast platforms, be sure to follow us. And if you are watching us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel.
Hi everyone, I'm Carolina Strauss. This is EWiT Code Spotlight Series podcast. Here you find inspiring conversation with top executives and technology leaders. If you're listening to us from a podcast platform, be sure to follow us. And if you're watching us on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. For today's podcast, I'm really happy to host Katie SanFilippo, CEO at ChickTech. Welcome, Katie, and thank you for accepting my invitation.
Thank you, Carolina. I appreciate it.
Well, Katie, at first, I wanted to know how it all started. Tell me about your journey, what influenced you the most through your history. So feel free to share with us.
Yes, thank you. So just looking at my personal career journey, there was a lot of uncertainty involved and a lot of exploration. And now looking back on it, I can see how every stage of this journey has led me to where I am today, based on the focus of my personal passions and my personal goals for what impact I wanted to have on my community. So throughout this journey, I've always been driven by a desire to make a positive impact in the world, in my community, locally and globally, and to really follow those passions, which has always involved a lot of traveling, outdoor activities, and volunteering. So in my career pathway in college, I was very uncertain. I started studying elementary education. I decided I didn't want to do that. And I wanted to combine the passions that I had to study biology and environmental science. But I was really discouraged by peers and teachers during that time when I was exploring that major, mostly because they kept saying I would have to be really good at math. And that was an area that I lacked confidence in, and I didn't think I would do that good in it. And so I ended up not going on that science, the biology pathway. Because of those prevailing narratives and that discouragement about who belongs in these types of fields. And so then I ended up going into more of a social science field. I studied anthropology and then education and Spanish. Through that, it brought me closer to learning about how to create the social change and impact through community development, which led me to my next stage of my career journey. So after I graduated college, once again, I was still uncertain. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to be, but I did what I did before. I explored my passions through volunteering, and each of these opportunities, once again, helped me fine-tune that career pathway. So I served as an AmeriCorps volunteer. It is a US-based volunteer program, a year of service and giving back to the community. And I worked in outdoor conservation, where I was actually the first female on a chainsaw crew, doing fire mitigation work and invasive species removal, some of the hardest work I've ever done. But then that also led me to the next opportunity to lead those volunteer programs at that organization I had served for. After a few years of doing that, my need to travel and volunteer even further called me to the Peace Corps. And I ended up in the Caribbean serving as an institution development volunteer in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. So here I learned from and with the community that I was there to serve, and just remaining open to the needs of that community there and my interest areas. I was able to develop and lead a youth leadership and service organization, and they're actually still operating today, almost 10 years later, which is amazing. But for my personal journey, that brought me closer to my personal mission of empowering others to be the change that they want to see in themselves, their community, and their world. So when I returned to the US in 2016, I became involved with ChickTech with a role focused around volunteer development and recruitment and program support across the country. And then this role, once again, highlighted that passion in building community to bring about that positive change. So while I haven't had a technology career background, my personal experiences in being discouraged to pursue a field I was interested in, and also my desire to just continue building and empowering communities, makes this mission extremely close to my heart. And I believe that in order to shift the needle on diversity within tech and even beyond, we all need to work together to support each other, support the next generation of technologists, and continue to uplift and fight for these equitable practices and access to whatever path we choose. So that's how I essentially got to be where I am today.
That's amazing. That's like inspiring history. And I think that's exactly what we look for at our conference. So what I want to ask you next is what you're looking forward to sharing the most with the attendees at our conference.
So first of all, we are very happy and appreciative to be a partner of Avenue Code and the EWiT conference. Excited to attend and meet everybody that will be there as well. And so overall, I'm really excited to share about the work of ChickTech and how we can all advance gender equity in the technology space to make it more inclusive and welcoming through a collaborative community. For a little bit of background, ChickTech is a national US-based nonprofit. We're headquartered in Portland, Oregon, and we serve communities throughout the US and now beyond with our virtual programs. Our mission is to broaden the pipeline of girls and women pursuing technology careers and increasing retention of women throughout their careers. We facilitate hands-on technology-centric events for youth and adults that build community, empower participants to see themselves as leaders, and provide networking, mentoring, and job connection opportunities in the rapidly growing high-tech industry. Our community consists of tech and non-tech professionals in all stages of their careers and education with a passion on this mission. We have two main programs to support the pathway as well as retention, and that include ChickTech High School and ACTW. ChickTech High School provides a series of free workshops for high school girls and non-binary students, introducing them to industry-relevant technical skills and careers through workshops and mentorships led by industry professionals. And then on the adult side, we have Advancing the Careers of Technical Women, or ACTW for short. And this program provides advancement for women interested in or working in the tech industry. We host technical workshops, focus around professional development, leadership and DEI trainings, and then connections to hiring companies. And that program consists of conferences, local networking events, and an online membership program, ACTW Plus, that brings on-demand professional development to people wherever they're at. So I hope at the conference to really share more about how we can make these changes together through volunteering to support the next generations, how you can advance your career through these professional development opportunities, and also support companies' DEI practices to foster more safe, inclusive, and welcoming work environments for everyone.
For sure. And I think people will love to hear more about the ChickTech at our conference. And to wrapping up our podcast, and I think people already know what you're most passionate about, but I want to ask, what you're most passionate about in your career and at ChickTech?
Yes, as I mentioned before, my biggest driving force and my passion is bringing people together to build that collective impact in making our communities more inclusive and safe and, within technology and beyond, so that all people feel empowered to pursue their dreams and also create a better society and future for all of us. I truly believe that through building these communities that span all demographics, we can learn from and with each other in creating equitable and inclusive environments at all levels. And then I also recognize that through my career in my life that there's so much that I don't know and can continue to learn by actively listening and being open to challenging my beliefs and perspectives on a consistent basis. And so through that, just really, fine-tuning and focusing on that passion around empowering others to raise up their voices, to share, to challenge the current narratives and beliefs that are out there so that we can collectively work together to make these decisions across the organization within ChickTech, whether, as a CEO here or the leadership or even all the volunteers that we have. Because by bringing in all these different perspectives, we're able to make these changes together and learn from each other on a daily basis.
Definitely. So thank you so much, Katie, for being here with us today. We are really excited to have you at the conference with us. And thank you everyone who's tuning. We'll see you in the next episode of Avenue Code Spotlight Series podcast. Be sure to check out the other interviews from the same series on our blog at avenuecode.com. Thank you.
Thanks to everyone who tuned in. See you in the next episode of the Avenue Code Extraordinary Woman in Tech podcast. Be sure to check out the interviews from the same series on our blog at avenuecode.com. See ya!